Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. So, end of November. So, prayerfully, you had an amazing Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving or whatever it is you did to be in the space of gratitude. The next time I see you, it will be December. Moving on through the year. So, today, ending the month of November, we will be talking about the soul of an octopus. Yeah. So last week, we discussed the various connections and ways that we are all connected with everything. And this week, we are going to explore the interesting connection as it relates to this particular question. What does the octopus, as an archetype, as an avatar, what does it show us? What does it offer us? And the answer may surprise you, but keep in mind, all of nature is an expression of God. As Frank Lloyd Wright said, I believe in God, only I spell it Nature. I spell it nature. Breathe. You said what now? You want to introduce to friend? Oh, Dr. Octopus. You mean from Spider-Man? Oh, clearly not. Not that Dr. Octopus. Okay. Huh. Doctor, more like I'll have a Dr. Pepper with my masala octopus curry or boiled octopus. Oh, that's rude. That's you still with the loving that. Moving on. As Dr. Holmes says, moving on from that. Remember that spirit exists always at the center of all form. It is forever expressing expressing in and as tangible form. All right, keep that in mind. The form of its expression may come and go, but it is changeless and eternal. We personally have form, but we are still some part of spirit. Pause. We are still all that spirit is as us. Since spirit is at the center of everything, considering spirit is all there isn't even a center for the everything. And in its action as law, always responds to our thought, because our thought and its thought are the same. There is no limit to its creativity, except the limitation that we ourselves impose upon our experience of it. Breathe. Keep in mind what this is expressing, that the all that is ever present, but are we embodying it and expressing it? Breathe. What do you see on the screen? What do the words say? And based upon what the words say, would we say that this means the same thing? That it's just a different way of expressing the same concept? And if that's the case, would we say the same thing about this? It expresses the same concept. It does it in a different way. The reason I'm bringing this up is because oftentimes we get caught up on the form rather than the core consciousness and meaning. We focus so much on the presentation versus what it represents. All of these are communicating the same thing, because the thing we refer to as math or mathematics, science, is revealed, is demonstrated in a variety of forms, in a variety of ways, and yet the core truth is unchanging. The Spirit responds to us by a direct impartation of itself as us. He says through us, as us. But it can only give us what we take. It can only be for us, as us, to the degree that we choose to allow it to be that. It imparts of itself only as we partake of its nature. The infinite knowingness becomes our wisdom only in such degree as we embody its intelligence. Its nature is to impart, ours is to receive and embody. Now, a lot of times we get confused about certain things regarding this. So think of it this way. Someone who is a singer, a vocalist, has access to music and song through the instrument of their body. But if they don't sing, then the music cannot move through their instrument. It cannot be expressed. So it can only be expressed to the degree that they choose to embody it and let it move through them and as them. Same thing for a dancer, an author, a writer, a poet. The creativity is there. The power and presence is there. But are they stepping into it by saying, I know this about me and I choose to embody it and express it? Or are they stuck in the space of insecurities and lack of confidence, doubting themselves in ways that prevent them from doing what they can do? You may remember, if you've ever seen it, there's a scene in Sister Act where the one, I don't remember the nun's name, but the small, thin, younger nun was basically whispering when she was singing. And then Whoopi Goldberg's character comes up and tells her to sing a note or whatever, and she pushes in at her diaphragm and the note changes. And she's like, everybody's stunned. She's stunned. Everybody else is stunned. Like, you actually had that in you? She wasn't letting it be expressed. So to what degree are we allowing the allness to be expressed as us? There's a story in the Bible about Elisha and the widow's oil, where the key concept is the widow had enough oil until her containers for the oil ran out. We can embody as much of God as we can believe and know and trust. Just like the widow in the oil. She was pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring until there's nothing else to pour it into, and that's when the oil stopped flowing. To what degree are we molding and shaping our lives, molding and shaping our experiences? Because we are the ones, through our consciousness, through our behavior and activities, we are the ones who are shaping experience. The drawing of Bob Marley, do you have any idea what the artist used to draw that with? A regular blue Bic ink pen. With something so regular and matter of fact, the artist was able to create a masterpiece. And that's because something so ordinary in the hands of a skilled master becomes extraordinary, which means both the master and the creation, the tools, they all up level to be able to express, to be able to manifest whatever is needed and desired to manifest. Breathe. But the person who goes deeply into their own nature will find that God speaks in a language more subtle than the human language, without a tongue, in the universal language of spiritual emotion, which is instinctive in humanity and in brute, and held in common by all civilization, by all creation, by all people who have lived. The universal language of emotion, sense, feeling, intuition, instinct. Sometimes we call it conscience. Sometimes we call it a hunch. Sometimes we call it a vision or a dream. It makes no difference what we call it. It is a direct revelation of omniscience through us. To what degree are we tapping in to the universal mind that is all there is, it is God, and realizing that our mind is that mind, which means all that it is as wisdom, intelligence, creativity is what we are, what we have access to. Are we? This is one of the reasons why I don't do this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It's not a little light. The light that is God is huge. But if we squint or close our eyes, then it's going to change our perception of the light. Just like when we say the still small voice of, no. The voice of creation is not small. It's booming. But if I am distracted by the noise or the sounds of something else, then I'm not going to really hear it because I'm not paying attention to it. But when I direct my attention to that, even the silence becomes loud. So, per our theme this week, the octopus. The octopus. We're going to talk about 5 incredible traits that prove these are nature's geniuses. For more information, see the website link at the bottom of the screen. Did you know that octopuses are some of the most fascinating and mysterious creatures in the ocean? Many don't know this, but they are the ultimate escape artists and problem solvers. As we go over 5 incredible superpowers that prove that they are in a league of their own. Even though they have this alien-like appearance, they are highly intelligent. They are very adaptable, flexible, and more, which we will see as we begin. 5 incredible traits. 1, they are brilliant problem solvers. Now, as it says here, their intelligence is very different from our own. Their nervous system is not centralized like that of a human. Instead, it is distributed among the components that function with considerable autonomy from each other. Perhaps these remarkable creatures possess a form of consciousness, albeit one that is very different from what we are currently familiar with. And yet, we, metaphysicians, understand that that which is infinite consciousness is also incarnating itself as them. So the one mind, the infinite intelligence, is also the infinite intelligence of these brilliant problem solvers. They are also excellent users of tools. Tool use is typically associated with humans, other primates, and birds. But there is significant evidence that shows that these interesting creatures use tools as well. For example, they have been seen stacking and using coconut shells as stilts. They have used them as shelter. They have used them or used other things to protect themselves if they were threatened by a predator. Some have even been captured firing a stone out of their siphon like a pea shooter. Underwater jetpacks. Sometimes you see them walking across the sea floor using their arms. However, they can also swim in water by using a system of jet propulsion. They have no bones. They have a boneless body. Most of their body is made up of soft tissue. In fact, they are 90% muscle. The only hard part is the beak. Now, keep in mind, as we're going through these, what does this have to do with you? What does this have to do with me? And lastly, number 5, masters of disguise. They can change both color and texture of their skin in an instant. They can do this to blend in perfectly with their surroundings or do the exact opposite and stand out. Now, I invite you to come back and read in greater depth the other things that were shared, but I just wanted to give you short synopsis because our invitation is to say once again, what are these teaching me, showing me, sharing with me about me? When do I mask or hide? When do I change my shape to fit in or navigate something? When and how do I use various tools for various purposes, etc.? We are also going to talk about spiritually. The octopus symbolizes intelligence, flexibility, creativity, transformation, and resilience. What's that got to do with you? It is you. That's what it has to do with you. Because if it's them, then it's you too. So a few key spiritual meanings: intelligence and creativity. The octopus's high intelligence is a primary spiritual lesson, quote unquote, reminding us to use our innate problem-solving skills to overcome obstacles. Flexibility and adaptability. Its ability to squeeze through tight spaces and adapt its shape and color mirrors the importance of being flexible in our responses to life's changes and challenges. transformation, and regeneration. Their capacity to regenerate lost limbs is a powerful symbol of renewal, rebirth, and the ability to heal and emerge even stronger from various difficult experiences. Creativity expands the mind, stretches it beyond ordinary human comprehension, resulting in the mind being elastic and capable of transcending and discerning complex ideas. The flexibility of the mind is like an oasis in the desert, creating miraculous salvation in a desperate situation where there is no hope of salvation. Breathe all of this in, because let's think of it this way. In the desert of what is going on politically, where's the oasis? The oasis that is creating miraculous salvation in the midst of a desperate situation where many have no hope. They feel no hope in salvation. Just saying. How does one become a butterfly? She asked. You must want to fly so much that you are willing to give up being a caterpillar. You mean die? Asked Yellow, remembering the three who fell out of the sky. Yes and no, he answered. What looks like you will die, but what's really you will still live. What looks like you, yes, that will die, but that which is really you will still live. Other key spiritual meanings. Resilience. This powerful ability to recover and grow, even after setbacks that are very challenging to overcome. Nonetheless, there is the ability to pause, to heal, to recover, to rebuild oneself, and then overcome. Intuition and hidden depths. As a creature of the deep sea, the octopus encourages us to trust our intuition, to delve into the mysterious, the hidden aspects of ourselves and our lives. And then lastly, multifaceted approach. With its 8 arms, the octopus can symbolize having many different ways to approach a situation, encouraging a holistic and multifaceted way of approaching or having a strategy for approaching life. Resilience. If your heart is broken, make art with the pieces. When you reach the end of what you should know, you will be at the beginning of what you should sense. There is always more than one way to do something. You taking this in? And not just taking it in as in, I'm listening, I'm hearing you, but I mean, take it in and then ask yourself, where is my invitation? What is this asking me to know and or do? How to learn from the octopus. Embrace change. Instead of fearing change, learn to embrace it with passion and determination. Trust your intuition. Navigate the deeper, more mysterious aspects of life by trusting your inner guidance. Focus on strengths. Use your unique skills and your innate intelligence to overcome or transcend any difficult situations. Heal and rebuild. Understand that you have the capacity to heal and recover from loss, emerging even stronger and even more empowered. Breathe. The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 gives us the ability to see the vast wonders of life, the miraculous, but not in the way we typically use the word miracle. Rather, we understand miracle as M-I-R-A-C-L-E, manifesting infinite realities, always creating life-affirming effects. And we realize that any lessons gleaned in our adventure of life are lessons we have chosen, and not lessons that are forced upon us by an anthropomorphic universe. We have an opportunity to look all around us and see God. And in doing so, connect to a deeper awareness of our oneness with it and as it all. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. If it resonates with you, I invite you to say it with me the second time. My entire being is as deep and vast as the ocean, and I am filled with boundless, unconditional love. Together. My entire being is as deep and vast as the entire. Ray, what are you doing? You're messing up the affirmation. One more time. Breathe. My entire being is as deep and vast as the ocean, and I am filled with boundless, unconditional love. And so it is. This week's Thursday night study group questions are your own personal journal questions. What is one spiritual lesson offered by the octopus that I will work on applying this week? What is one thing I learned about myself by way of learning about the octopus? For example, maybe I am not flexible and I'm not an effective problem solver, and the octopus inspires me to change that. In the schoolroom, what does each of those lessons invite me to do? For example, what can I do to practice and embody lesson 1, which was embrace change? Instead of fearing change, learn to embrace it with passion and determination. 5 things in my life that I would call miracles are, and then lastly, What is the most challenging thing from today's message for me to accept, understand, and apply? Our practice for this week. Actively do something to practice building one of the spiritual lessons of the octopus, and then share with someone else what your experience of that was. Breathe as we enter into that space we refer to as prayer. Simply knowing the all that is, God, present right here, right now, in, through, and as. And knowing that it is in, through, and as all that I am, then all that it is, I must also be. The infinite wisdom shows up as my wisdom. The infinite creativity, my creativity. The infinite love, healing, transformation is also mine. I embody it and I express it. And what is true for me is true for everyone watching, everyone listening. So simply realizing and understanding that wherever I look, there is God, which means whatever I see, whatever I hear, wherever I am in the sacred presence of the all that is as the all that is. Which means I can look at an octopus and see the wisdom, the creativity, the love. And in seeing it, demonstrating right in front of me, reminds me that I too am that. And so we breathe. We breathe to accept and embody this truth, knowing that we are far more beautiful and powerful than we give ourselves credit for. But in this moment, we expand into the greater possibilities of who and what we are. And the law saying yes does what it does to back this truth, to prove this truth, to demonstrate this truth. Which means we, in this moment, live our amen. We live this life as the demonstration of answered prayer. So we breathe and simply acknowledge this, embody this, and express this. And so it is. And so it is. It looks like I'm clear again. I was cloudy there for a moment. And that's about. Anyway, next time I see you, it will be December. Yes, I said December, Tracy. I didn't say June this time. Blessings to you for this coming week. If I don't see you at something during this week, then I will see you right here next Sunday for a very interesting theme for the month. Much love and appreciation. Blessings. See you soon.